Yes, we know it is only the preseason. Don't get too fired up. Don't get too excited. This, that, and the other. There is no reason why New York Jets fans shouldn't be happy with the way things just unfolded in their preseason opening win against the Packers, 30-10. I'm Glenn Naughton with Jet Nation Radio and JetNation.com. Be sure to log into JetNation.com where you can register and become a part of what is the most active Jets message board on the web. So if you tuned in and watched, don't know if you hung in for the whole thing, as I discussed earlier. Not everybody likes talking backups. I do, but let's start with the starters. Justin Fields did a really nice job. Only played one drive, 10 snaps, four pass attempts, completed three of them. His lone incompletion, a toss to Garrett Wilson on the right sideline, was a little bit wide. Just hit a couple of dump offs over the middle. He didn't. It was nothing fancy. Wasn't a light show, laser light show, throwing darts all over the field. But Justin Fields dropped back, looked at what was in front of him, and took what the defense was giving him. Which even that, I've talked a few times this offseason and said that as weird as it may sound, Aaron Rodgers is the better passer, better player than Justin Fields. However, for what the Jets want to do on offense this year, what we believe they want to do on offense, I could see this offense being more efficient than they were under Aaron Rodgers last year because Justin Fields is going to be able to use his legs. That's exactly what he did to end tonight's drive, a 13-yard touchdown run after, again, completing 3 or 4. Braylon Allen had a big run. Brees Hall had a couple of smaller runs. So the Jets basically, they did what we thought they would do. They ran the ball when they ran the ball to set up the pass. Justin Fields then took what was available to him, and when things broke down, he made plays with his legs. Jets went up 7-0. He comes out of the game, closes it out for him, and all in all, just a really nice game for him. Armand Membu, the rookie tackle out of Mizzou, he played 10 snaps, played really well. 10 pass blocking, 10 pass plays. He stayed on a little bit longer than some of the starting offensive linemen who left early. So in 10 pass block reps, didn't give up any hits, pressures, sacks, anything like that. So a successful debut for Armand Membu. And listen, when you have a 30-10 win, you're going to have some success in a bunch of different spots. Well, actually, let's get the bad out of the way. Lots of penalties again, lots of penalties. But what I liked, and I know everybody liked it, it was there were tweets out there and everybody was loving it. Aaron Glenn with Marcelino McCrary Ball, who got called for an unnecessary roughness, just grabbing him, getting in his face. What the hell are you doing? We don't do that here. This, that, and the other. It's been missing for so long. Gone are the days of great penalty, bud. Way to try your best. I know you just cost us 15, but come here and let's give me a chest bump. You're my guy. We're buddies, right? That's gone. Aaron Glenn's going to get in guys' faces, let them know when they mess up. We saw it today, preseason game or not. Aaron Glenn was not holding back. Love seeing that. The other thing that was missing, I guess, I was hoping to see a couple more plays from the receivers. Didn't really see any big time plays from any of the wideouts. Stone Smart, the tight end, did have a 24-yard catch and run TD on a screen pass. Kelvin Pritchett looked good, in terms of movement. Even on one particular catch he didn't. It wasn't a huge gainer, but he didn't have a lot of room to work with, and you saw him work in and out of traffic to gain a few yards. It's little stuff like that where it doesn't look great in the box score, but you can see the skill set. You can see where it looks like the guy's going to get nothing, and he gets 4, 5, 6 yards. So some encouraging stuff from him, but really the receivers as a whole, we didn't see a whole lot. Tyler Johnson had a couple catches early on when Brady Cook came in the game. Cook, I wasn't sure he'd be the second guy up after Justin Fields left, but he was. He completed 4 of his first 4 passes and then finished the day 6 out of 8. So not a bad day for him. Adrian Martinez came in relief of Cook. He went the rest of the way, completed 11 of 16 for 152, including the aforementioned touchdown to Stone Smart, which came on a screen, as they pointed out during the broadcast. And if you were watching, you saw Xavier Newman did a really nice job leading the way on that run or on that run after the catch. And that, something that dawned on me as I was watching this game and fully understanding its preseason. Listen, I'm I'm one of those guys that was watching this team when they went 5-0 in the preseason one year because they had the Hall of Fame game. and they went on to win, I think, 4 games all year. So I've watched this team win more preseason games than regular season games. This isn't anything to get too ramped up about, but it's also not nothing. It's one thing we saw was the Jets moving the ball late in the game when they're down to that fourth, fifth string offensive line. And you can tell me, oh, these are guys that aren't going to make the team. Yeah, I get that. I know. However, it's telling me that maybe these guys are being coached well. Maybe the concerns, listen, I'm not going to hide from it. And again, it's one game. They haven't done anything. If they win 10 games this year, not going to happen. But no matter how they perform this year, I'm not going to pretend I didn't have concerns and still don't have concerns over the inexperience of this coaching staff. But after one game, I don't know how you can, look at what Steve Hayden has done with this offensive line and say, look, he's got these guys playing better than previous offensive line coaches have had their third, fourth, fifth string linemen playing. So even that it's a tiny little thing. Oh, Glenn, who cares? They're running the ball well against another teams. Yeah, how many years have we seen when they can't do that? How many preseason games have we watched where they don't move the ball for the entire second half? Because once they're beyond that first group, they don't have an NFL-worthy lineman on the field. Cole Laval, a guy who I mentioned earlier today, I think that I'm guessing here. We'll have to see when PFF or anybody else who has the snap counts. I would imagine he played more snaps than anybody, and I think they like him. I think they want to. Sometimes it's not always a good sign when a guy is playing late into the fourth quarter of a preseason game, but he was one of the first guys in when the backups came off, and he stayed on for the rest of the way. And he was one of those guys that I've talked about in the past as somebody who they brought into rookie minicamp. He was one of the veterans they brought into rookie camp to get a look at. So I think they like Laval a little bit. And they said on the broadcast he was called for a hold, but I think they were wrong about that. That was a shame. Donovan Edwards had what would have been a 73-yard touchdown run that was called back due to a hold that really on replay, and in fairness, they only showed the replay once and not a great angle. It was, at least for me, maybe I was looking at the wrong spot because I'm looking at Laval because they had just called his number. And then after the hold occurred, apparently, the broadcast points out the officials got it wrong. So maybe it wasn't on him, but there wasn't an obvious hold from the replay that I watched. Just a few things we're going to touch on. Like I said, short one today. I'm a couple of hours away from hopping on the road for about a 7-hour drive. So let's see some quick notes and thoughts on this one. As we said, Brady Cook 6 out of 8. So that battle, I feel like both quarterbacks did all right. Adrian Martinez, the disappointing thing with him was late in the game, Arian Smith got wide open deep down the left sideline for what would have been an easy touchdown. Adrian Martinez overshoots him, and then he's got Quentin Skinner, and then he overthrows him, 6'5" receiver, and he overthrew him by a fair bit. So not a great day for Martinez, but he was the only quarterback to throw a touchdown. So give him some credit there. On the ground, Donovan Edwards led the way. Again, it's late in the game. I get it, but this is a guy we've talked about extensively after he was signed as a UDFA out of Michigan. Fantastic player in college. I felt like if they were to keep 4 backs, which I'm not saying they will because teams just don't do that, but I think Edwards is absolutely a guy who's, I mean, you're going to have a hard time sneaking him on the practice squad if he keeps playing like this, if we're being honest. But he had 9 carries for 42, and his one catch came on a really good throw from Martinez, timed it perfectly, hit him in stride, and he picked up 21. Lawrence Toafili, who we haven't talked about a lot. I tweeted about him a fair bit when the Jets signed him. He had 4 for 17, not a ton. Braylon Allen, 8 for 33. Justin Fields, as I mentioned, he had the 13-yard touchdown run. He had 2 for 14. Kenny Nwangu got 5 carries for 10. Brees had 3 for 9. Brady Cook had 1 run play. They just got sniffed out, and he got blown up for a 5-yard loss. The Andrew Beck, I'm not even sure if I mentioned that's who 2 of Justin Fields' completions were to. Again, just short dump offs over the middle. Beck made some big yards after the catch. He had his 2 for 36. Skinner only had the 1 catch it came from Adrian Martinez on a ball. Looked like pressure was coming. Martinez just chucked it up there. And you can do that when you've got Quentin Skinner on the receiving end because he's 6'5" with great hands. He elevated, got up, pulled in the catch for what was a 26-yard gain. Arian Smith did have a couple catches for only 18. I'll tell you what, the guy that worried me the most was Malachi Corley. Just didn't see him. Couple targets, one or two. One hit the dirt. It wasn't a catchable ball, and the other one was one for 8 yards. So not a great sign there. Not a great start for Corley. I thought he might get a little bit more run than that. Defensively, Jay Tufele. What a game for him. Early on, if you go back and, I'll rewatch it. But if you watch early first quarter, maybe even first, second drive, he had a couple of really good reps, drove the offensive lineman into the backfield at one point. Actually, again, I have to see the replay. Looked like he may have overrun the quarterback, like was that dominant on that rep, just steamrolled the offensive lineman. He had another solid play later on. So I'm kind of watching and thinking, because I've not watched a ton of Tufele. Signed him as a free agent. He didn't get on the field a whole lot in Cincy. Watched a little bit of him. He looked, nothing really jumped out at me as being this guy's going to be, a player. And I'm not saying he is after one preseason game. I'm just giving him the credit he deserves because he played really well today. So later on in the game, pardon me. Later on in the game, he gets a sack of his own, but prior to that, he gets a half a sack on a play in the end zone where Leonard Taylor gets to the quarterback first. And I think that's where Tufele got credited with a half a sack. I could be wrong, but he did get credited on that play with a touchdown. Picked up the fumble in the end zone that was forced by Taylor, and came away with 6. And then later on, he got the solo sack. So Tufele really defensively the standout on the game. And another thing that not you look at the effort and you look at the results that he got, but across the board, and it was mentioned, during the broadcast, especially late in the game when the Jets were still playing well and still playing hard. They just look prepared. I mean, how many preseason, regular season, practice, warm-ups? When was the last time you heard somebody watch this Jets team under Robert Saleh and say, this team looks prepared today? This team looks really ready. It felt like one of those things you never heard under Saleh, especially early in games when they were just always a mess. They started every game down 24-0. It was ridiculous. But under Aaron Glenn, again, it's one game, but at the same time, it's our first game in how many months? I think it's all right to get a little bit excited about some of the things we saw tonight. Mentioned Stone Smart, mentioned Cole Laval. I'm just going over my notes for the an article I just threw up on the front page. We talked about Donovan Edwards, finished with 9 for 42, and again the lack of plays from the wide receivers was a little bit worrying. Austin McNamara, the rookie punter, what a great job he did. He was right around 50 a punt, 49.7 on 3 punts, really good hang time. And on a couple of those plays, if you were watching, you saw Quantez Stiggers absolutely dominating as a gunner, which was nice to see with Irv Charles out of the game. Let's see. In the chat real quick, Rob says, although it's preseason, probably one of the most complete games in recent years. Absolutely. Looks like a promising future head coach. That's what we hope. It's you don't want to go overboard, but listen, there's no getting around this. The Jets have the longest playoff drought in the NFL, in all of pro sports. They've got 9 consecutive losing seasons. Preseason or not, it's going to be a little bit exciting to watch them play a complete football game where they did a bunch of things well. And that's exactly what happened tonight. So I'm not getting on anybody who's excited about this because let's be honest, we haven't had a lot of good moments and little things like this. Even if it's not this year, like you just kind of look at the way things unfolded, and it's like, all right, let's show a little bit of faith in these guys. Let's again with the inexperienced coaches, it's one game, but put it this way: we've had plenty of games where it goes the opposite way, and the Jets lose 30-10, and then it's the worst case scenario because all of your fears are sort of justified and you're like, well, everything we thought might go wrong looks like it's going to go wrong. Well, tonight we don't know what's going to go right or wrong, but we do know that this team just went out and played a complete football game. They looked prepared, they looked fired up, and it was reflected in the scoreboard. Happy to see Aaron Glenn get his team to overcome really that. Can't even remember if I mentioned this one yet, the flags. Way too many penalties. I did talk about how Aaron Glenn responded to the penalties, but the Jets had a ton. I don't have the numbers in front of me right here, and yeah, my page isn't refreshing that has the numbers on there. I'm gonna try one more time because I tried to look at the total penalties right before I went live. Okay, here we go. Yeah, 10 penalties for 91 yards, too many. That's not going to work for this team. It's not going to work for Aaron Glenn. But listen, be excited, Jets fans. I will be back home in the coming days. Lots more coverage coming. We'll be able to go a little bit longer. I'll be able to be a little bit louder, trying to keep it down. The whole house is sleeping. It's like, what is it, 5:30 in the morning or something right now in France. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Have a good one, Jets fans. Fun win, fun game, lots of performances to talk about more in the future, but we're going to cut this one short for now. Have a good one.